Glammers, welcome to this episode of Dr. Glam podcast.
Hey Glammers, what's up, what's up?
Today episode, we are going to share with you our experiences from the moment that we came out as a LGBT couple, and we're going to offer you some of our tips and advices that was effective to us, and we're hoping that you will benefit it as well. So,
All right, let's do this.
let's go. Bezan berim.
So this episode, we're kind of narrowing things down. This is specifically exact for the LGBTQ community.
Yes.
Because all of our episodes before, we've always talked in general.
Yeah.
And since the LGBTQ community is growing, or they are being
More out.
vocal about it, we decided to do this so that if either you're in the community or have someone in the community, you find ways to support one another and live in harmony.
Yeah. Also, I'm very thankful for the amount of support that we have from Glammers and our fans. And they support us, love us, and we can raise our flag like very easily. And we can even talk like in our previous episode, we talk everything in general when it comes to relationship was in general, because we're like so open. We see relationship of
Because actually,
LGBT
yes.
and straight are the same, right?
Actually, we don't see any difference between
Yes.
two people being in a
In love.
LGBT relationship
Or-
or a straight couple.
Yeah.
It's love is love, and that has been our motto, right?
Yes.
But there are challenges and some specific issues that you encounter.
Yeah.
So whether you
That's
are
true.
part of a community or you know somebody who's part of this community, these are some tips that could be valuable.
Helpful.
Yeah. Number one, the most ironic is open communication. And we have been saying this all throughout
Yeah.
our podcast, that number one thing in a relationship, whether it's a couple relationship, parent, child relationship, friends, between two friends, it's always about honesty
And being open
being
about
open.
it, even no matter how difficult is it.
Yeah.
Because there are, especially different generation have different way of explaining themselves or describing themselves, or some generation, even not just generation, but also different countries. Like there are some countries they're so okay and open about LGBT that they don't even see any issue about it.
Yeah.
And some countries there is still a lot of hidden
exactly.
stuff, and we can't even talk about it.
Yes. So communication is a two-way street.
Yeah.
Like, I'm open, you're open. So if this communication and being open means that it doesn't only mean that you express freely. Yeah, that's the number one.
Yeah.
And it's important that you know your feelings and express it. But number two is also to listen to what your partner has to say, right?
Yeah.
If your way of expressing yourself is 100%, this is it, black or white, and you shut down the partner and do not hear the other side of the conversation, that is still not considered 100% open.
In addition to that, about your open communication, when it's about your partner, if it's about your partner or you want to have this open communication to a friend, it's kind of different. When you are in a country that probably is illegal for you to be gay, you need to be...
Fortunately, we're not in that country.
Thank God for that. You need to make sure before you open up about your sexuality, make sure that you are in a very safe environment before you open up and talk about your sexuality.
Yes, yes. So the tips or things that we're discussing right now might be more general. It might be different for
Yes.
for people who are in countries or places that's illegal. So that's
Yeah.
a different whole over different
yeah.
topic. So let's focus on countries that do not criminalize you
Yeah,
because of
exactly.
your
So this is
sexual
for these countries.
orientation.
This podcast is for these countries. Yeah. So I think what you said is very important to communicate openly and tell out whatever is in your heart. Like for example, you want to communicate about your sexuality to your parent. Don't expect they will like hug you and kiss you right away, or maybe they do, but it's just as what Doc Farr also mentioned, also be open about any reaction that will come toward you. I mean, be ready for that as well.
Let's move on to the second one.
Okay.
Yeah. Another tip is be supportive.
Of each other
Of each other.
identity.
Yes. Be supportive of each other's identity. If you're in a relationship, do not box each other.
Yes,
We have
we are
been
already
boxed. We have
boxed.
already been
Yeah.
boxed for generations, for such a long
Yes,
time.
that is
And
true.
then now we are in an era that this is becoming known more. People are more welcoming. So inside in your own community, let's not try to box
Ourself again.
ourselves
Put our
again.
box into another
Yes.
box and layers and
Right.
layer.
Understand that humanity is complex. Our
Like
feelings are
I
complex.
feel like sometimes labelize can be
Yes.
like you already been labeled as lesbian, okay, and then we're gonna talk about being lesbian and what is lesbian, all that, and then there's other boxes of lesbians of like,
Yeah.
okay, this is a lipstick lesbian, this
Yes.
is
Yeah.
non-lipstick, this is a feminine lesbian.
Yes.
Like I mean, labels sometimes it works because
Works.
they can describe themselves about like how they want to be treated and what is their likes
Yes.
and dislikes. But from another point of view is you're putting yourself in another box again, and it's gonna be kind of confusing for others who don't even
Yeah.
understand what LGBT community is.
Yes.
So it's just same sex that they love each other
Be supportive to yourself.
and to your partner as well.
Yeah. And then by then you can expand that, be supportive to your partner as well. And how you do that is be true to yourself, right? If you have so many things in front of you and so much information, it might be confusing to yourself also. What is the true me?
Yeah.
Right?
And you can try on some
Yes.
other stuff. Like when I say other stuff, it could be fashion, not the other stuff that you think about. So it's like, for example, when Doc Fire was mentioning about being supportive, it's like I am supportive of her dressing up any way she likes. Then suddenly, I mean, another day, if I see Doc Fire likes to wear a skirt, I'm not gonna say that, oh, but your style and you are identified as a like tomboyish or butchy or more of a masculine type of lesbian. Why did you wear a skirt? That is what we are telling, that we need to support each other, because that is just fashion. That is just something on top of it. It's nothing to do what is inside or who you love or who you are.
Another thing about being supportive is also some young couple who get together in an early age. Sometimes you get together when one is out and one
One
is
is
in
not.
closet. So it's a way of course everybody steps out of the closet sooner or later, but how can you support your partner without being pushy? Right? So
Yeah.
it's not your journey, but it's your partner's journey. So that kind of perspective is what
Yeah.
we mean by being supportive.
Yes, that is how also open communication will come. Like
Yes.
you will talk to each other like, I love you, but I'm just not that open that in the street I will hold your hand. So it's up to you now to choose if you want to be with a person that doesn't want to hold your hand, or you want to support this person and one day she or he will be ready to hold your hand, outside, or introduce you to their parents, or, all these things that every lesbian couple or every LGBT couple, they want to be so normalized. They want to be out there. One day you will have that, but you need to support one another through it.
Yes. And by being supportive, you're actually embracing the diversity, right? So being part of it is all about diversity, right? We are not just black and white. We are diverse.
And that's the
So
beauty about
beauty of
it.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So within the community as well, celebrate diversity. Do not stop on the
Yeah.
outer layer, but in
Be the creative of who you are, because like for me, like I am so creative, and sometimes I want to try and experience my masculine side, and sometimes like I can wear some stuff, so I can be like come out like very strong, and sometimes I can be like just dancing around, putting on makeup and embrace my feminine side. Sometimes these are the diversities that we need to also be supportive of it and be open about it. Another help for LGBT community couples or individual can be for them to have a safe place.
Yeah, safe
My
place
home.
is where or who you can be in a environment that you won't be judged or discriminated, right? So I had many safe places. I surrounded myself with people who wouldn't even question. They would treat you like just simply another member. I mean, the acceptance level was so high.
Yeah.
I think my immediate family, like siblings, they were very supportive of this as well. Also, highly recommended while creating a safe place is also seeking communities, right? Seeking communities that you can connect to LGBT support group, another people of the same group, or organizations. I remember we used to do seminars for self awareness and self improvement, and there was no judgment or discrimination among people who were attending to do that. So it wasn't specified for LGBTQ community. It was actually a seminar for people who wanted grow more in their life.
Life
And that was the
development.
beauty of it, because yes, it's nice to have support from the same people in the community, because you hear their stories and you can identify, support, and grow. But for me, it was also nice to have a community out of this specific, and just be treated like everybody else.
Yeah, I think from the moment that I came out as a lesbian, I always seek for a place that I am safe. Of course, from a stereotype of it is if you're lesbian, you have to show something about your look that you are lesbian. But this is how I look outside or, inside. So there were some guys like hitting on me, and I need to tell them that I'm lesbian. So they don't have to pursue their relationship or courtship with me because I'm just honest, I'm lesbian. And what happened was the way that they think about being a lesbian is, I don't know, all the movies that they watch, and they even liked it more, and they become more aggressive, and that become not a safe environment for me. So I couldn't just sit in a restaurant or a bar or any place and tell that I'm lesbian. So I realized that I need to have some places or go to some places or talk about my sexuality if I feel safe. And that is very important, that we are in a safe environment. As you said, like we went to some organizations or we build up some community that we are so comfortable talking about who we are and nobody gonna judge us. And I just want to share with you one of my stories. I mean, together when we were in a mall and we were just sitting in a restaurant, we were sitting and having a very nice lunch together. Then suddenly an old guy from another table came to us, and just out of nowhere, and he was like shouting already at us. And everybody was like, what is he talking about? He's like telling us that, who is the man? And I'm like, who are you? But I was like, I was so confused that time. And we were in our very early 20s. And although the environment was a safe environment, but we didn't know there are some people can come and approach us and,
Yes. Well,
be
actually,
something.
you can't always keep the crazy out,
Yeah, exactly.
right?
So there was a,
Yeah, so that was early 2010s. Surprisingly, also here in it happened here in
yeah,
Glorieta, so somewhere that you won't expect
expect
to
that this
happen.
gonna happen.
But what we
Yeah.
mean by safe environment was when somebody approaches your table, a stranger,
Yeah.
then starts asking personal question, for you to be confident enough to know that you are not in the wrong. That dude is in the wrong who's coming on
Yes.
your table uninvited, interrupting your meal
Yeah.
and asking you question. And the thing was, I answered back, right? Who the hell are you? And then he said, do you don't know who I am? And I,
You
I
don't know who
honestly
I
don't know
am.
who that guy was.
We
But
don't know who you
yeah,
are. Yeah.
but the waiters of
Yeah, they
the
were so,
resto escorted him outside. So
yeah.
that's
So that is what we call as a
yes,
safe
and
environment. It means
know
there
your
are
rights.
people
Yes,
around, and it's not it's legal, and
yes.
it's not, we didn't hurt
Yeah.
anybody. So people were at our back, they had our back, and they
Yeah,
support
also
us.
Philippines has a non-gender or non-sexual orientation discriminatory law.
Yeah.
So that's kind of protective. These are what we mean. That's one of the tips. Know the laws of where you live
Yeah,
with,
and
right?
update yourself
So that
about
you
it.
be safe, because that event could be a trauma, right? So the trauma stays on the event surface and it doesn't get deeper
Through you.
anymore. You need the safe environment, safe community, people, friends and family who accept you, so that you don't question anymore yourself. We actually had a nice lunch earlier and with a fellow
Yeah.
LGBTQ person, and then out of nowhere he just said, you think I chose to be like this? I would have given everything to have a normal life, have a
Yeah.
wife and kid. And then our other friend interrupted him and said, Who
Who
said
dictates
who
norm?
dictates what's
That the other
normal?"
friend is me.
And it really kind of made sense,
Yeah.
right? Who dictates or who said this is
normal
normal.
and this is not normal.
Yeah.
I think what is important is natural. When someone say this is normal, this is not normal, especially in our lifestyle. If some said you being together is not normal, other one is normal, you being a doctor is normal, you being an artist is not normal. I mean, you need to think natural. What is natural to you?
That's the importance of having an accepting
Yes.
relationships or community around you, so that you get on that level of not questioning or doubting yourself. Alrighty, with that, let's take a short break and be right back.
Another thing that is important is relationship boundaries. To know what is your boundary and what is my. We need to talk about it, that this is the things that is my personal space and I need that. And if you come more than that, it's not okay. Things that is not okay, you need to put it out there.
Yeah. Whether your partner will believe this is somewhere that you need to grow on or whatever. But at the moment that you said this is the boundaries should be respected. It doesn't go only for romantic relationships. I think in every relationship.
There must be a
Parent
boundaries,
and
yeah.
child relationship, friend, even if it's a friendship, talk about your boundaries, what you feel
Yes.
comfortable with
Or
and
not.
what you don't. Put it out there.
Yeah, like sometimes, especially in the LGBT community, like some people come in and like they ask about the most personal question that they shouldn't ask. And that is your privacy and that is beyond your boundaries that they're tabbing in. And it's not okay. Like, for example, they can talk about your sex life. And do you ask this question from a straight couple?
Yeah.
You will not ask that, right? So
Yes.
these are the things that is not something that you're going to be shy about or you think it's okay if someone going to ask because you want to educate them. No, you need to educate your boundary at that time that
Yes,
this is my
because,
boundary. You
because
can't-
if that person, if that friend or whoever needs education, at this time, there are
Yes.
so many resources,
Yeah.
just ask them to watch our podcast. That's
Yes,
one resource.
that's one a very great resource. Especially during our time, which is our time when I mean is because we're very young. When we came out, there was not much movies or even in social media. There was not much platform that was out there that we can learn a lot of things about it versus now that everything is just online and you can talk about even different countries. You can just watch them and educate yourself. So there are times that because you become open about your sexuality and you are going to talk about it, whether your parents, siblings, friends, or even to be more in a honest relationship and communicate with your partner, you might go through depression, stress, or you might feel sad and you might feel that there are things that you cannot talk about. And there is a time you might even go to a dark place. So it's very important that you take care of your mental health.
Yeah. So one way of supporting each other is pay attention to your own mental
Mental
health,
health.
and to your partner's mental
Yes,
health.
because sometimes, especially when you are a kid and you don't know a lot of things about LGBT and all that thing, because labeling things happen during adulthood or sometimes on teenager. When you're a kid, when you love, you just love. And there are some times that you might experience trauma, like you're a guy and you're wearing a dress and you're so happy. Maybe you're just 6 years old and then someone come and hit you and tell you, hey, you're a boy. You couldn't wear this dress. And that time you had the trauma, you experienced that trauma, and you might forget about it, but you still feel that you still remember that experience, but you might forget the incident. So what will happen is when you grow, a lot of things might trigger you when someone tell you don't do that or do this. So it might trigger you and it might make you to go to dark place. And if you have someone to talk about, it would be the best, especially someone that you trust and you are fully yourself. And if you do not have someone, you need to, as we said, seek for a community that you are safe and you can talk about all these things and put it out there.
Yeah, or seek professional advice when it comes to mental health and emotional well-being. Actually, if you feel there is a need, you support each other through challenges, right? But if you feel it's extreme and you need the professional help, go and seek for it. And always remember, love is love, and love is universal. Your relationship is valid, right? So don't go into the cycle of doubting yourself and your
Or hating
relationship.
yourself, or like, I must be straight. If I was straight, I didn't have any of this problem. No, it's not that. Straight people also have a lot of problems.
Yeah, like if you're going through a challenge, just don't
Blame your sexuality.
on the everybody goes through
Challenges.
relationship challenges.
I mean, life is all about this. Life is not about you're born and you go after your passion and you're happy every day. Life, it's you growing every day. You're learning things every day. You go through challenge. You learn how to deal with it. You learn how to lead things. You learn things about yourself and what are the things that will limit you or unlimit you. So this is life, and that's the beauty of it.
Yeah. But another thing that's very important, and I remember when I was younger, I used very unconsciously seeking role models. Role models from the community who are successful in your opinion, in your eyes, the way you see them, they're successful and they have long lasting relationships. It's important to find those because out of this community, if you're a straight couple, there are many examples that you can see around you, right? You can see on TV, you can see in family members around you. What's challenging is because our community is small or smaller than I mean, in numbers, right?
Yeah.
Or some are not completely open, meaning in closet. We might not see so many examples in front of us, and it would help to pick a role model.
Yeah, I think if I had a role model when I was kid, a lot of things might be easier for me, because for me, I felt that I was all alone. Like there's nobody can understand me and I'm so wrong and whatever I do is sin.
Yeah.
So it's very good that nowadays there is no such thing, right? Like at least the people are more open on the TV. We can see a
Yes.
lot
Yeah.
of LGBT community.
There are
that's,
so many
yeah,
role models that,
that
you
you
can
can
pick right
choose.
now to
And
hear their stories, to get inspired,
yeah,
and to
to know that
know
they,
that there is possibility.
yeah, there's possibility that sometimes things might go wrong, and then
But it's fine.
yeah, it's fine. And sometimes even you're gonna choose a role model, like, okay, they are together for so long, this is the type of relationship that I want to have, and then you end up seeing that your role model, they get separated or they divorce, right? So in that case, don't think that something is wrong about the world or the universe, or something wrong about you and you will never find a true love and all that thing. No, because even your role model are humans. You know, they also have their own challenges, their own life stories, and the only difference is they're just out there and you can see and their life and they're more open about it. So even if you choose a role model and you think that they had some weaknesses, doesn't mean that
Yes.
it's not gonna work.
You know, role model is to inspire, right? So even if you see a weakness or a shortcoming from them, it can still inspire you.
Yeah, but
Be
despite of
better, to grow
exactly,
as a human being.
because despite of all those things that is happening to them, they are still holding on strong and they're sharing their stories in the screen in front of a lot of people. And
how can
that
you
is courage.
Yes. How can you share stories if you don't take care of yourself? So next advice is prioritize self-care for
Yes.
yourself and for your partner. And while taking care of yourself and your partner, it's important to keep educated, continuously educate yourself as a human being, right? Always better yourself. You never see anything in nature that stops growing, because anything that stops growing starts decaying. Also, one of the things that you really do,
What I do?
yeah, it's in our relationship, she always does this: celebrate milestone, you know,
I celebrate.
any achievement. She's like, this calls for a celebration. I never had the habit, but that's one of the wonderful habits
Yeah,
that you
I
have.
love celebrating. And when I say celebrating, is not just, you have to have this, huge celebration in going to Boracay.
But she always asks for it. But what we mean is, celebrate milestone.
Yeah, like
Like anniversaries, if you have a wonderful memory, just remember, reminisce.
And I feel you don't have to wait for yourself to achieve the goal. You can also celebrate every step that you accomplish while achieving the goal, because that is the part of, I mean, that's the beauty
Yeah,
of it.
milestone.
Yeah, milestone.
All right. And last but not least,
Is unconditional love to yourself and
for your partner.
others. Yeah.
Yes.
So,
Yeah, for your partner and to others. Exactly. Always remember that's the highest form of love. That's true love, is unconditional love.
love yourself when you are weak. Love yourself when you're strong. Love yourself when you are confused. Love yourself when you haven't accepted anything yet. Love yourself when you are even in a darkness. Because at the end of the day, you need to take care of yourself. And at the end of the day, you only have one you. So it's very important that you love yourself fully, because when you love yourself fully, that is the time that you will find someone who also love you. You cannot ask others to love you unconditionally when you haven't loved
Love yourself.
yourself unconditionally.
And you can't give unconditional
Love when you
to
haven't.
others if you haven't given that to yourself.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So
So
this
with
is it.
This is it.
This is it,
Our episode
Glammers.
today.
And I really enjoy talking about
Yeah.
all this. I mean, I wish it was, we can talk longer,
Yes.
because every time you talk about each tips and advice, it reminds me a lot of things. And if I talk about that, just like now I'm talking, I talk about, it might be one whole day. Yeah. So we are so thankful that you guys are so loving and supportive and loving us unconditionally. And with this, we are gonna end up our episode.
Yeah.
Don't forget to comment below.
If you
and
enjoyed this topic, give us a like and share.
share.
Until our next episode.
Paalam!
See ya.